Dave, we're coming towards the halfway point in the season now, obviously a busy festive period before then, but how would you assess the season that you've had so far?
Pretty good. Happy with where we're at. I think we're probably a few points short of potentially what we could have, but I'd certainly say that we're on the rails in a good position to make sure we try and kick on in the second part of the season.
I mean, Lewis Bates just told BBC Radio Manchester he thinks automatic promotion is a target. Do you go along with that?
It's very easy to be, or acceptable to be aspirational around what we want to do. One thing's for certain, we've shown that over the first part of the season that we can compete. I've always been of the thought process that we need to improve, and one thing's for certain, if we improve on what we've just done in the first 19 games, then we'll be pretty close to it with 7-8 games to go. So yeah, I wouldn't go setting targets around wanting to finish here, there, or whatever. I think there's some really good teams in the league, and some teams that over the course of January will strengthen. We've just got to make sure we stay in there, and as I say, keep improving. If we can improve on what we do, then we'll win more football matches.
Just touch briefly on Tuesday night, obviously out of the Virtu Trophy. What did you make of the performance, and were there any positives that you were able to take from the game?
Disappointed again with our performance. I'm not going to hide behind that because I told the players the same. Again, the key, any positives? The positives were players got 90 minutes that we needed 90 minutes, and that was very much the aim of the game. Did we want to win? I said that I didn't think the result was important. I said exactly the same to the players, but the performance was important. And in my eyes, if the performance is right and spot on, then 95% of the time the result will take care of itself, which didn't, which says probably everything you need to know about the performance. I get and understand that it's difficult sometimes when you've not played minutes to find that consistency and find that rhythm and find that groove, but the people that currently aren't in the starting 11 need to be pushing the ones that aren't, and when they get them opportunities, they've got to grab them. And on the occasions that we've spoken about over the past, not just the past few months, since the start of the season, really, that's been not the case on too many of those occasions. So yeah, listen, disappointed with the performance. Was the competition, like you say, the be all end all? No, it was important that the ones who got minutes and got through the game, and the ones that needed taking out and needed a little bit of a breather in order to be as ready as we can be going into Stevenage got that as well. So we move on from that pretty quickly and make sure we're good to go Saturday.
Has that become a bit of a catch-22 in a way? You talk about whatever you want to call them, the fringe players, the players that aren't playing, in terms of, I suppose some of them will say that they need a run of games to be able to build up that consistency, but at the same time, if they're not grabbing their opportunity, they're not going to get that run.
It's not catch-22, that's life. Your opportunities come about when your opportunities come about, be that through suspension, injury, competition, loss of form, all them bits. If you don't grab your opportunities, regardless of whether you're in football or something else, then it passes you by pretty quickly. I'm not responsible for that. The players individually are responsible for that around how they go about it. And there'll be, I've said before, everyone can have a bad game. That's not. There's no issue with that. What I want them to do is show their value and cause us problems in terms of picking a team, whether it be going to Stevenage or whether it be at Stevenage we don't quite perform up to our levels, and someone's been brilliant on the Tuesday and says, I'm putting my name forward here. I had a great game. I want to be one that's the next one to sort of go in. That's what you have to do. And if you don't do that, then you're going to find it even more disappointing, aren't you? Because those opportunities will come round less and less and less. Sometimes what you're needed to do in a short period can be tough. Can be difficult going on for 15-20 minutes of the game and expecting to change it, or maybe not so much change it, secure it. But you need to be able to do that. That's fundamentals of making sure that you're a significant part of a squad, and you can be trusted to go and either win a game or change a game or see a game out, in order then for in whatever situation or circumstance the next time it comes around, whether that's the start, that you're one that's been put yourself forward to say I'm ready to go here. I can replace him, because all the players will tell me that they should be in the team. Now at their best, no one can have arguments with that. I think we've got a squad that is competitive, but actions speak an awful lot louder than words, and we need to see people prove their worth to the squad. We know the value and we know the worth. They need to show it when they get them chances. A lot of their chances came on Tuesday, and in too many situations they didn't take them, which is the most frustrating thing.
Louis Barry's just been having his photos taken with the League One Player of the Month trophy. The second time he's won that this season. I appreciate we probably said all there is to say about Louis already this season, but just a brilliant footballer and seems to be loving life at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just desserts for. I was just chatting to him downstairs around being nominated, and he was talking about how I would feel if with the awards I've won. I suppose for me it's a bit different although it's a Manager of the Month award. There's a lot more goes into a Manager of the Month. It's really a collective for the staff and the staff across the board and all the players. Whereas when it's an individual award for a player, it's slightly different, because you are judged on, certainly Louis' situation, your individual moments of brilliance that have got your goals. There'll be certain situations that will say, oh, someone's got Player of the Month because of a team performance, be that clean sheets or be that goals that have been great team goals and all them bits. But it's been about individual, like I say, that individual brilliance that has made him stand out over the first part of the season. So great for him. Like I say, he's very humble, and be the first to thank all his teammates for what they provide and give him the platform to be able to go and do. But like I say, just desserts for what he's done. Yeah, he's in a good place. He's enjoying his football. He's scoring goals, and from our perspective, long may that continue.
Easy to forget, he's still so young as well. Do you still feel there's more to come from him this season, and where would that be?
No, of course there's more to come from him, because you have to be realistic about levels, and he is performing well at League One level. But there's a difference between League One level and the Championship, and there's a significant difference between the Championship and the Premier League, as everyone has potentially seen over the last 2 or 3 years when the teams from the Championship have gone into the Premier League and struggled. So there's loads more for him to learn and be better at. At the moment in transition, he's a huge threat, and has got numbers, and we've spoken about this with other forward players, numbers that stand you out from the crowd. I suppose what teams will look at is, what does the worst version look like? Let's take the goals away and the goal involvements away. What you're going to be required to do as a minimum, and can you be trusted to do them things in and out of possession of the ball? And they're the bits that will be the deciding factor around Louis and him moving forward and going and conquering the divisions that are still above him, because there's still loads to achieve for him.
Elsewhere, news of a new addition coming in January, Benoni coming in from Iceland. Is that, looking at it, obviously 19, is that very much one for the future? What will the short term, I suppose, look like for him?
Yeah, the short term will absolutely look like getting him up to speed and getting an understanding of his level. He's come from the Icelandic top division where he scored goals, and in my eyes, goal scorers don't change. If you score goals and get in the right positions in one league and are a good finisher, then you're quite likely going to get them chances a little bit higher up. They may be fewer and farther between, if you like, but he knows where the net is. We've got to get him up to speed physically. We've done some testing with him prior to him signing, and yeah, the first part of his integration into English football, this country, this club, will be I suppose the cultural changes and the physical changes that he needs to go and perform. I suppose what we have to do is probably honestly go into it expecting nothing, certainly for this first part of the season, this first season, if you like, and be able to work with him and improve him across the board. But in the hope that maybe he integrates quicker than we would plan, and can have an impact over the next part of the season. But we're certainly going into it with our eyes open and not expecting that to be the case. Hopefully, we're all pleasantly surprised.
It says a lot about the depth and detail of the scouting department right now that County are, I suppose, going into these kind of markets to recruit players.
Yeah, I suppose we're scouring the length and breadth of the world, not just the country. I think with Benno, it is one that jumps out pretty quickly. He scored the amount of goals he scored. I think he scored 21 in 26 or something over in Iceland. So he jumps out in terms of data, which drives an awful lot of recruitment, or certainly backs up recruitment if you've seen certain players. So. But yeah, you're always looking. Sometimes these markets are untapped, and you can get better value over there. Ultimately, actually, the club's changed over the first part of this season and are looking for asset value and investing in younger players that can kick on. Of course, there's a risk involved in it because coming from a different country, and the gauge between what the Icelandic First Division looks like in comparative to League One can be anybody's guess. Anyone can have a stab in the dark as to where it sits. He'll know pretty quickly, and we'll know pretty quickly over the coming weeks when he gets his work permit and he's back over here after Christmas, and what that looks like. But like I say, really exciting in terms of the potential that he has. I think probably, well, certainly the first in a long time that's been signed from Iceland to Stockport County. But shows that, yeah, we are looking at different markets in order to try and get players that can improve us.
Coming back to Saturday now and on the injury front, any developments in the week? And obviously Maka missing last weekend. Is he likely to be available?
Maka's trained, so fingers crossed, no adverse reaction to that, and we'll see how he is. The only one from Tuesday, Teo got a bit of a kick, so he's missed training today, but potentially be fine to train tomorrow. So a clean bill of health, which, like I said, was the positive to come out the game, and hopefully we can, apart from long-term injuries, we can pick the ones that will allow us to put out the strongest team we can in order to go and back up the recent good run of form we've had in the league.
And finally on Stevenage, a lot of success under Steve Evans the last couple of years, in and around the playoffs last season. But to be fair, since Alex has gone in there, they're not scoring a lot of goals, but they remain a difficult side to beat, particularly at home.
Yeah, they've it's probably similar to ourselves. Again, different. They got promoted a year earlier than us, but probably evolved with Steve moving on and Alex coming in around their style and how they're going to go about it. They're still resolute and miserly in terms of how they defend, aggressive and front foot, certainly at home. Still play direct and still a threat from set pieces, but a little bit more than that in terms of the players they brought in. So can sort of mix it up. We've got to, like I say, we've got to go there and as we will do with every game, focus on what we need to do. Focus on what we need to do in terms of how we deal with their best assets and ultimately how we try and take advantage of situations that we think we can find ourselves in. And if that's the case, it's one of them ones where it's probably a 50-50 game. They'll just fancy themselves at home to beat us just as much as we fancy to go there and get a result away from home. And that's the big thing for us. We had a good run in the league in terms of wins. We have to go and back that up.
Appreciate your time, Dave. Thank you.
Welcome. Cheers. Thank you.